At 3 a.m., when Detective Ethan Cole stepped into the apartment, the first thing he noticed wasn't the body. It was the silence. Not the normal quiet of a sleeping city, but the kind that settles after something irreversible has happened. The kind that feels staged. The living room looked untouched. The couch perfectly aligned. A half-full coffee mug rested on the table, still warm. Curtains hung open just enough to let the streetlight spill inside, as if someone wanted the room to be seen. There were no signs of struggle, no broken furniture, no blood on the floor. And that was the problem. In the bedroom, Daniel Harper, 38, software consultant, lay on his side near the bed. His shirt was ironed. His shoes were neatly placed by the wall. His face showed no panic, only a strange calm, almost peaceful. Detective Cole exhaled slowly. "This doesn't look like a fight," he said. Crime scene analyst Maya Lewis crouched beside the body, slipping on gloves. Or he never had a chance to fight back. Everything was in place. Phone plugged into the charger. Wallet still in his pocket. Door locked from the inside. It looked like the definition of a perfect crime. Too perfect. Then Cole noticed something small. Something easy to miss. Daniel's wristwatch had stopped at 2:42 a.m., but the emergency call was placed at 3:01 a.m. 19 minutes. 19 unexplained minutes where someone had been here. Watching, thinking, adjusting. Who made the call? Who took the time to make the scene look this clean? Cole straightened up, his voice low. "Whoever did this didn't break in," he said. They knew Daniel well, and in that moment one thing became clear. This wasn't just a murder. It was a performance. And the most dangerous person involved in it hadn't even entered the story yet. Mark Reynolds arrived at the apartment before the coroner. That alone raised eyebrows. He was calm. Too calm for someone who had just lost his closest friend. His clothes were neat, his posture controlled, his voice steady, almost rehearsed. "I came as soon as I heard," Mark said, offering Detective Cole a firm handshake. "Daniel and I spoke earlier tonight. Everything seemed normal. Normal." That word echoed in Cole's mind. Mark didn't wait to be asked questions. He volunteered details freely, where Daniel usually sat, what time he slept, which neighbors he trusted. He even pointed out the coffee mug on the table. "Daniel never drank past midnight," Mark said quickly. "That must be from earlier." Cole glanced at the mug, still warm. Crime scene analyst Maya Lewis noticed it too. Mark continued talking, filling the silence, explaining everything before anyone asked. People in shock often struggle to speak. People in grief hesitate. Mark did neither. When asked where he was between 2:30 and 3 a.m., he answered instantly. "At home, alone, watching a movie. I can show you my streaming history." No pause, no hesitation. Cole leaned closer. "You seem very composed," Mark smiled faintly. "I don't panic." Daniel hated panic. That smile lingered a second too long. Then came the mistake. Mark glanced toward the bedroom and quietly said, "I can't believe he died on the floor like that." Cole froze. No one had told Mark where the body was found. Maya slowly looked up from her notes. The room felt colder. Cole met Mark's eyes. "You haven't seen the body," he said evenly. Mark blinked, just once. "Oh," he chuckled softly. "I assumed. That single word hung in the air like a crack in glass, because assumptions don't describe crime scenes. People who've been there do. And for the first time since arriving, Detective Cole felt certain of one thing. The perfect crime hadn't started with violence. It had started with trust. By morning, the case looked like it was slipping through Detective Cole's hands. On paper, Mark Reynolds was clean. Security cameras in Mark's apartment complex logged his keycard entry at 2:18 a.m. His car hadn't moved all night. His phone pinged a cell tower near his home until sunrise. Streaming records confirmed the movie had been playing from 2:30 to 4:10 M. Every box was checked. Too neatly. Digital footprints don't lie, a junior officer said. Cole didn't answer. He was staring at a timeline stretched across the whiteboard. Times, locations, movements, each one lining up perfectly. Almost perfectly. Maya Lewis broke the silence. Daniel always wore that watch, she said. Even in the shower, Cole turned. And it stopped at 2:42. That was the crack. Daniel's phone showed an incoming message at 2:39 A. You still awake? The message was read. No reply was ever sent. If Daniel had read it, he was alive at 2:39. If his watch stopped at 2:42, something happened 3 minutes later. But Mark's keycard showed he was already home. Cole rubbed his jaw. Unless the watch didn't stop when Daniel died. Maya looked up. Unless it stopped when someone took it off. They ran tests, replicated the movement. The clasp required deliberate pressure. Daniel hadn't removed it himself. Someone else had. The timeline still worked if the killer left before 2:42, which meant the murderer didn't. He needed to be present at the time of death. They needed to be present before it. Cole leaned back, uneasy. This wasn't about being there at the right time. He tapped the board. It was about controlling the clock. And suddenly, Mark's perfect alibi didn't feel protective anymore. It felt designed. Because the most dangerous criminals don't run from evidence. They build around it. And somewhere inside those missing minutes, the truth was waiting. Detective Cole leaned over the desk, eyes narrowing at a tiny smear on the doorknob. Everyone had overlooked it. The crime scene was immaculate, too clean, too controlled, but this small, almost invisible streak of dirt didn't match anything else in the apartment. Maya Lewis crouched beside him. It's subtle, she whispered, but look, it's not just dirt. It's skin cells. Cole froze. A small, simple clue, but it was everything. This tiny detail revealed a presence no one had expected. Someone who had been inside, handling things casually, like they belonged there. Not a random intruder. Someone familiar with Daniel's apartment. He examined the smear under the magnifier. Pattern of fingerprints? Partial, not complete. Almost deliberate. Cole's mind raced. This wasn't a break-in, he muttered. It was rehearsed, planned. Maya's voice dropped. Look at the placement. Whoever touched that door didn't leave any other prints. They knew exactly what to avoid. Every officer in the room felt a shiver. A murderer so careful, yet bold enough to leave the tiniest trace, just enough to toy with investigators. Cole walked to the living room. The half-full coffee mug, still warm, still untouched. The curtains hanging perfectly. And now the doorknob smear. Everything pointed to the same terrifying conclusion. Daniel's killer had been inside the apartment before anyone even knew. Someone who knew him intimately. Someone who could move through his life without suspicion. Cole whispered, almost to himself, the perfect crime wasn't about killing him quietly. It was about controlling everything, even what we would notice. And in that moment, every detective felt the chilling truth. The smallest detail can reveal the deadliest mind. Detective Cole stared at the timeline for the 100th time. Every CCTV clip, every phone ping, every alibi. Everything seemed airtight, almost everything. Then Maya Lewis pointed to the smallest inconsistency. A delivery log from the building's front desk. It was routine. Daily packages. Nothing unusual. Until now, one entry, timestamp 2:15 a.m., listed a parcel delivered by a man who shouldn't have been there. A maintenance contractor. Name, Victor Hawley. No record of Victor entering Daniel's floor that night, yet the log said otherwise. Cole's stomach tightened. He whispered, "This isn't random." He was here before anyone knew. Victor Hawley had not been a suspect. Calm, polite, background worker. No reason for anyone to think twice. but he now stood out like a shadow under a bright light. Investigators pieced it together. Between 2:15 a.m. and 2:42 a.m., Daniel Harper had been alive. The killer had entered, staged the scene, left, and manipulated every detail. The perfect alibi was a facade. Cole and Maya confronted Victor the next day. He smiled. Too calm. Too controlled. "Why did you do it?" Cole asked. Victor tilted his head. "Control," he said simply. "I wanted to see how far I could push it, how perfect I could make it look. People love to think accidents are accidents. I wanted them to think the same about him." Psychologists later described Victor as a master manipulator with obsessive narcissistic traits. He didn't kill out of rage, greed, or jealousy. He killed because he enjoyed orchestrating the perfect scenario, the ultimate game of psychological domination. For Daniel Harper, it was instantaneous. For Victor Haile, it was a carefully calculated performance, measured down to every second, every object, every movement. Cole leaned back in disbelief. The perfect crime wasn't about killing someone quietly, he muttered. It was about making everyone feel they were missing something, even when they weren't. And as the detectives closed the case, a single haunting thought lingered in their minds. The most dangerous criminals aren't always violent strangers. Sometimes they are the ones who blend in, who smile politely, who manipulate reality. And sometimes they are already standing right next to you, waiting for the perfect moment.